Hi, welcome to training on the VariQuest Perfecta 2400. My name is Heidi and I'm delighted to be training you today on our wide format full color poster printer. You're absolutely going to love having this tool in your school as an effective way to engage students in their learning, also to promote your fundraising efforts, your school brand, create a real sense of community within your school, etc. It is designed to create, as I said, effective full color posters and banners for your classroom, for your school walls, throughout your school building. You're absolutely going to love its ease of use and its effectiveness. So before I get started, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the printer logistics. First of all, with your investment, you did receive not only the Perfecta 2400, but also a printer stand. It positions nicely onto the stand, which is on wheels, so that gives you the freedom to wheel it in and out of different classrooms, maybe in and out of your media center, etc. So it is a wide format printer, of course, but it's compact and very easy to use within your building with the fact that it's on this great stand. This stand also gives you a nice fabric catcher for collecting all your posters and banners. So I hope you've had an opportunity to unbox your Perfecta and position it on the printer stand. But if not, there's a great video, an assembly instructional video, that will walk you step by step through that process. And you can find that video on our VariQuest Resource Center, which is an exclusive website that's designed for our valued customers like you. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of our training as far as how to have access to that website, etc. But watch that instructional assembling video. It's very easy to follow along. Anybody can set this up for you if you haven't already. And once you're set up, you're ready to go. You simply then just plug it into a power protector or surge protector, and then you also have a USB cable that came with your Perfecta. That's going to connect to your VariQuest Design Center. So with your investment, you most likely received a VariQuest Design Center with the Perfecta itself. And you can see the Design Center to my left. It is an all-in-one touchscreen computer that comes preloaded with our VariQuest software. So the USB cable connects to your printer and then to any one of the USB ports found on the Design Center. Now it is a touch screen, making it very easy to navigate through the software, but the Design Center also did come with a keyboard and a mouse, so you can connect those two peripherals and set it up like an actual workstation as well for ease of use. So that's a little bit about the Design Center and how it's simply a plug and play setup with the Perfecta. Now, if you didn't get the VariQuest Design Center, that's okay. We do have our VariQuest software available on the VariQuest Resource Center as a free download. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get towards the end of our training. But essentially, the software is, you have that free download to put it on any computer. It's not Mac compatible, but any PC compatible desktop or laptop. You can download that software for free, as I mentioned, and have access to hundreds of full color poster and banner templates. So with that said, you also did receive with your investment a roll of our Perfecta heavyweight coated paper, and you got a starter set of ink cartridges. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to install your supply as well. If not, that's also part of that assembly instructional video that I was referencing just a few minutes ago. So with your paper, you want to load that, you want to load your ink, and then you're ready to go. Now, as I talk a little bit about the paper, I mentioned that with your investment you received a roll of the heavyweight coated paper. That's one type of paper, one of many types that are available for the Perfecta 2400. The heavyweight coated paper, which again you did receive, is the type of paper you're going to use on a daily basis. It is a nice sturdy paper that does beautiful, rich in color, fully, very vibrant, full color posters and banners, and we can just take a little swipe around the room here so you can see some of the posters that we have created using the Perfecta 2400. As you can see, they're just awesome, very effective when hung in the classroom, when used for fundraising efforts, etc. So lots of different options to choose from. And all the posters that you're seeing right now are just a sampling of the templates that are available through the VariQuest software. And we are going to dive into the software here in just a little bit so you can become familiar with how easy it is to bring up one of our pre-designed templates, how you can modify it and print it within minutes. So that's a little bit about the software as well. So I mentioned the heavyweight coated paper is ideal for everyday use, and again, you did receive a roll of that. But in addition to the heavyweight coated, and I should also add that that paper can be hot or cold laminated as well. So you can give additional reinforcement to those posters so you can reuse class after class or year after year once it's been laminated. Now we also offer two different photo types of paper that are ideal for photographic images. So for your fundraising efforts, your recognition posters and banners, you might want to consider either one of these two types of paper. The first one is a semi-gloss paper, which gives a nice satin finish to your final poster or banner, or we offer a gloss paper. The gloss gives that real photo finish quality. It's a glossy effect when it's all done, and it's absolutely beautiful. And again, either of those types of paper are ideal when you are uploading a photograph onto your template and, again, promoting some fundraising efforts, prom posters, different graduation posters and banners that maybe you're going to sell in your student-based enterprise or your school store. Nice to consider either type of paper, and as I mentioned, great for recognition posters as well. Then we also offer a matte polypropylene paper. This is our tear-resistant paper. So this is great for banner use in the fact that you don't have to worry about if an end would drop, it tearing on you. It is, like I said, tear-resistant. So again, great for banner consideration. One thing to note is the matte polypropylene paper cannot go through a hot laminator. So it's really designed to not laminate at all, or if you happen to have our VariQuest Pro Finish cold laminator, you can easily and safely laminate any type of the papers that I'm talking about right now through our cold laminator, including the matte polypropylene. So do keep that in mind. And then we have a type of paper that's designed for economy prints, and that's our bond paper. Our bond paper, you'll note, is a little flimsier in weight, and the color isn't as rich and vibrant, but you get 150 feet versus 100 feet to a roll. So on average, you're saving about $1.25 to $1.50. So that's why it's cost effective and great for those prints that are going to be on your wall for a short period of time. Maybe they're a test print, maybe it's a print to promote an event happening in your school that's just a day or two away, and once it happens, you're going to tear it down and throw it away. Or perhaps you're creating a lot of posters that are going to go in areas that aren't very visible to students, parent volunteers, community members, etc. You might want to consider the bond paper. So those are our popular types of paper that we do offer. I will also add that with the heavyweight coated paper, we offer a repositionable paper. So it's 24-inch by 100 feet repositionable paper, whereby it has an adhesive backing to it. So your poster prints, you peel off the back, and you're able to apply it easily with that adhesive backing to any hard surface. And as it says in its name, it's repositionable, so you can take it down, reposition it elsewhere, and it doesn't leave any sticky residue behind. So that's ideal for those posters that you're not quite sure how you're going to hang. You don't want to use tape or tacks. Having the adhesive on the back of the paper ready to go is a really nice asset. And then if we want to take that a step further to help do more internally within your school as opposed to outsourcing, we do give you an option to purchase, if you like, our mounting kit. Our mounting kit will give you a roll of our heavyweight coated repositionable paper, and then it will give you an assortment of white foam core boards that are trimmed to the size of a full-size or standard-size poster. So the beauty of that is that you print your poster, you peel off the back, you mount it on foam core, and it's ready to prop on an easel, up against a door or a desk, or whatever. So nice to eliminate that outsourcing need and be able to do all of that in-house with the VariQuest mounting kit. So those are all of our rolled paper options. I will also add, and you probably noticed this as you were setting up your printer, That in the back is a multi-sheet tray that latches again to the back of the printer. That multi-sheet tray houses either 8.5 by 11 regular copy paper that you have in your school, or 13 by 19 heavyweight coated paper by VariQuest. We did give you a couple sample sheets of a 13 by 19 inch size for you to test and try, but that is an ideal size for those mini size posters. If you need to conserve on space and you want to conserve on ink, you might want to consider the 13 by 19 inch size that again loads in your multi-sheet tray. Your multi-sheet tray expands width-wise and the height expands as well so that you can accommodate that size paper. If you were to buy a box of that paper, you would receive 40 sheets in a box. So it's a great size, again, for those mini-size posters. The 8.5 by 11 sheets of copy paper are ideal for test prints and student copies. So if you're wondering, why would I want an 8.5 by 11, of whatever, again, great for that additional reinforcement for students outside of the classroom. So you can have a graphic organizer or a big poster anchored in your classroom, and then you can print individual student copies as well. Also ideal for your fundraising efforts too, when you have big promotional posters and banners promoting that activity, and then you can also print that same template as an 8.5 by 11 and hand those out as various flyers. So lots of different applications as well when using the multi-sheet tray. So again, we've got a video that covers how to load your rolls of paper, but I'll just give you a little overview now. Basically, you have this top cover that opens up, you have a spindle that you lift out, there's a blue end cap that you remove, and that allows you to slide your roll of paper onto the spindle. The paper is always going to feed over. You have a little graphic that shows you that orientation. Once it's in place, then you position your blue end cap back on. Make sure the end caps on either end are nice and snug on either side of the roll of paper. And then you're ready to just simply cradle it in the top of your printer. And then from there, you want to gradually feed it down into the Perfecta until you feel some resistance. You will also hear a beep, and that just signals you that the paper has been detected. Your attention will then be drawn to the touchscreen control panel that I'm pointing to right now. This is a 6-inch touchscreen graphical interface that controls that is your control panel basically. So as you're loading supply, it guides you. As you're printing, it guides you. And if there's any error messages going on or whatever, you'll be prompted on this display as well. So once you have your paper in, it will take it from that. The printer will automatically take it from there and load itself. So what it's going to do on your display is prompt you to select your paper category and your paper type. So when you're first putting in your roll of paper, your paper category is going to be bond coated because you're putting in a roll of heavyweight coated paper. Then you'll have a drop-down menu of all of the different paper choices, and you may need to tap on more paper types, but what you want to look for in most cases is our heavyweight coated paper. When you see that on the drop-down, just tap on that to select that type of paper. And then in the lower right corner, you'll have a prompt that reads load roll. Just tap on that. It automatically loads your roll of paper. Now when you are unboxing your roll of paper, there's 2 strips of tape that are holding the paper down. Remove the tape, of course, before you install. When I do that, I usually rip it, or it leaves a little residue behind. So know that it's a best practice to just trim that off with scissors if you choose before you put it into your Perfecta, or just do a quick test print because those do sometimes show up on the very first poster. But it also, if you do trim it with scissors, don't worry about it being super straight, because when it's installing, it will check the paper skew, so it'll make sure that it's aligned perfectly straight. It may shear off a little extra to give you that great straight edge, but then you're good to go, and you'll get a prompt on your display that says that the roll has been successfully loaded. So it is important, I mentioned these different paper types, and it is important that you do select the type of paper that matches with what you're putting in your Perfecta. And that's going to give you your optimum print quality. Otherwise, it will default to plain paper if you don't select, and you will notice some banding that can happen, and your print quality will be compromised. So just choose the right paper that matches, or the right type that matches with what's in your machine from your drop-down menu. So that's how you put the paper in. Once you're done, you can just simply close the cover and you're ready to start printing. Now, I mentioned the multi-sheet tray and the fact that you can print these 13 by 19 sheet-fed prints and 8.5 by 11 copies as well. To toggle to the multi-sheet tray, what you do from your control panel is, and I'll zoom in a little bit at this point so you can see this a little bit better. We'll get a tighter shot of the control panel. Hopefully you're already somewhat familiar with what it looks like, but in case you aren't, here's the home screen of the control panel. Here's where you have your it's basically these two options here from the left to the right, the rolled paper icon and the multi-sheet icon. When you don't have a roll of paper in your multi-sheet tray, that icon has a check mark next to it. When you put in your roll of paper, it's been detected, then it switches to, the check mark switches to the roll icon. So to go back to the multi-sheet tray, just tap on the rolled icon. You then get a prompt in the lower right corner that says unload roll. Go ahead and tap on that and it will automatically unload your roll of paper. You can still have it cradled in the top of your machine, but now it's going to pull from the multi-sheet tray. You have a home button that returns you to your home screen as well. And once you've done that, the check mark will be back on the multi-sheet tray icon. Now, while I'm still zoomed in, I'm going to talk a little bit about the ink cartridges. As I mentioned, you got a starter supply of ink of your black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. Very easy to install your ink. And if you are ever wondering, as you are printing a bunch of posters, where your ink levels are at, this is especially helpful if you are getting ready to place another order with VariQuest and you want to know how much you need to get. Here on the top, you'll find over to the right is an ink icon. When you tap on that, you are able to see where your levels of ink are at. So that's nice for those reordering purposes. So just a little bit about that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out again. As it relates to the ink, hopefully you've, in addition to the starter set, you've been able to purchase full sets of ink as well. The ink gets installed right below the control panel. So you've got a door right here that opens up, and you've got a carriage that retracts to the left of the printer, and you've got 4 color-coded slots, and they're spring-loaded cartridges, so it couldn't be any easier to put your ink in and to replace it when needed. So you just push on your cartridge, and you're able to pull out the cartridge and replace as needed. So you can't go wrong as far as what cartridge goes in what slot, because everything is color-coded. So very easy. I will tell you that it is a best practice to fully deplete your ink before you replace those cartridges. So you will get a prompt when a cartridge is running low. It'll tell you right on your display, this color is running low. But don't replace it, keep on printing. It's just a good reminder to you that you need to go to your supply cabinet and grab that color because it's going to run out soon, or you need to place another order with VariQuest for some additional ink. Then when it fully depletes itself, the print job will pause. It will tell you what color is depleted, so you know which one to take out and replace. And then it won't resume where it left off, but it will allow you to cancel your print job. It shears off what it's done thus far and allows you to start over again once you have replaced that ink cartridge. So that's a little bit about the paper and the ink. Again, there's a video that goes through the step-by-step process for getting your supplies loaded into the Perfecta. But it is really pretty straightforward. As I was talking about the multi-sheet tray, I also wanted to mention that you have the ability to print certificates too. So in addition to effective full-color posters and banners, you can print these awesome certificates as well. So you can load either your own certificate paper, or you can purchase certificate paper from VariQuest. You load that in your multi-sheet tray. We've got in the VariQuest software, in addition to the poster and banner templates, we've got certificate templates as well, allowing you to easily customize your template. You can upload your school logo. We've got seals that you can purchase from us and black jackets as well. So when it comes time to recognize your parent volunteers, your staff members, and of course your students, you might want to consider some of the supplies for certificate printing from VariQuest. But either way, just know that it's easy to print certificates from the Perfecta as well. And we'll touch on that here in just a few minutes also. I also wanted to point out, as I go over some best practices, that you do want to leave your Perfecta turned on at all times. A lot of people wonder, okay, should I turn it off at the end of each school day? Maybe I should just turn it off over the weekends or when we take a break, holiday break or whatever. No need to do any of that, and we in fact don't want you to turn it off, because when it is powered on, it will cycle through its own maintenance checks. And you do want those maintenance checks to occur to make sure your printer continues to perform properly. So keep it turned on at all times. That's why it's important, and I said it earlier, to connect your Perfecta to a surge protector rather than just an outlet in the wall. But anyway, do keep it on at all times. Even you can even keep it powered on over the summer months. So again, it cycles through its own routine maintenance. And it will automatically slip into sleep mode when it's not in use. So after a period of time, it will slip into sleep mode to conserve energy. So you may walk into your workroom area and see that the Perfecta, it looks like it's turned off, the screen will be dark, but it's just in sleep mode, again, conserving that energy. So when you're ready to start printing, just go ahead, start printing, or tap on the display to wake it up, and you're back in business again. So I did want to mention that. I also talked a little bit about the VariQuest software and how it's available on our VariQuest Resource Center as a free download. Even if you have the VariQuest Design Center, which I think most do, if you have the Perfecta 2400, you most likely have our Design Center 2300. So again, what's nice about having the Design Center is that you've got a dedicated device with the software on it, positioned next to your Perfecta. It just makes it so easy to use as a bundled or packaged unit. But again, software can be installed on any PC compatible computer. So we encourage you, even with the Design Center, to download that software onto your desktops, onto your laptops, so that teachers, your media specialists, other administrators and paras have the software on their own workroom or their own workstation, their own computer. That way, they're able to bring up the software, peruse through all the various templates on their own time before actually coming into the workroom area and starting to create. It's just going to be a real time saver for everybody involved, and it's really going to allow you to maximize your investment. So follow the prompts when you download the software. Again, it's on our VariQuest Resource Center, which I'll talk about at the end of our training. But follow the prompts to download the software. One thing that to note is when you're downloading the software, you will get a prompt that wants you to connect your device to the Perfecta. Well, that's easy to do, of course, if you have a laptop. Just bring your laptop down to your Perfecta, connect, and complete the install. This is a one-time only requirement. But if you're on a desktop, that's okay. You can easily, because the printer, as I said earlier, is on a stand with wheels, just wheel it into your classroom, connect it to your desktop, complete the installation, you're good to go. And again, then you have the ability to go through the software on your own. You can even modify those templates from the convenience of your own computer, and you can then save them and export it onto a thumb drive. Then during your prep time, walk down to your workroom area where you have your Perfecta and Design Center or computer connected, and import that save file into the VariQuest software and proceed to print your poster or banner. So that's really convenient. Again, it's a great way to maximize your investment. So with that said, those are just the printer basics that I always like to lead our training with. Now I'd like to share with you our VariQuest software and how easy it is to use for creating some, as I said, some beautiful, very engaging posters and banners. So for this part of the training, I'm going to take myself out of the picture and I'm going to zoom in onto our VariQuest Design Center. And while we're getting a nice tight shot, I will tell you that there are currently over 650 or approximately 650 full-color poster and banner templates to choose from, and we have thousands of full-color graphics. So we've been very intentional with the design of our software. In fact, it was designed by an educator for you educators. So we know, or we try to really be intentional with a lot of the templates that we have. They cover the 4 main subject areas. They really promote collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, etc. And they're posters that are designed to really have students interact with their learning. Through these templates, through these effective posters, you're really able to, again, help students be more engaged in their learning, which is ultimately going to help with student achievement and deeper cognition. So I think you're really going to be pleased as you become familiar with all the possibilities that the VariQuest software has to offer. So we are now zoomed in, and as I mentioned, you have, I'm on our Design Center, as you can see. It is a touch screen, as mentioned, but you can connect your keyboard and a mouse. Excuse me. I'm going to use my mouse today to navigate through the software. I recommend that you do connect your keyboard and mouse, because when you get to the edit screen, it just makes life so much easier. But basically what you want to do when you first launch the software, when you first turn on your Design Center and it launches for the first time, it's going to take you automatically through a setup tutorial. So let me show you what that, excuse me, what that entails. First of all, it's going to take you into Workroom Assistant. You see that tab in the upper left corner. It's going to take you into Setup. It's going to take you into Output Devices. And here's where you're going to want to verify that the Perfecta 2400 is, you're able to see that it is properly connected. Excuse me. By verifying, you'll be able to check under this Design Center Device column. You'll be able to see the Perfecta 2400 listed, and that box should be checked. So then you know you have a successful connection. When you're done, then you just click OK to back out of that. It then takes you into school information, and here's where you have the ability to upload your own, your school name and your school mascot. And when you do it from this area of the software, it automatically puts it on all the poster inventor templates that require a school name and mascot. So it's tailoring your templates specific to your school. So I do advise that you take advantage and do complete this step. Even if the tutorial has already taken place, just go into Workroom Assistant after training, go into Setup, go into School Information. Here's where you would just click on Edit Name, and here's where you, from this touchscreen keyboard, or the connected keyboard, just type in the name of your school, go ahead and click OK. It saves it here as well as onto the various templates. Now, with your logo or your mascot, you can do the same thing. This time, or in this situation, you would click on the Browse button. And I think it's easiest, especially when you have the Design Center, to just have your mascot saved on a thumb drive. Insert that in one of the available USB ports on the side of the Design Center. And that brings me to another point. You always want to keep a USB port available on the side of your Design Center so that you can have graphics, digital photos, whatever it might be, your mascot, other types of PDF files, etc. saved on a thumb drive. You can just easily pop that in, upload that, and print. So I'll talk a little bit more about PDF files and uploading your own graphic, etc. But have one of those USB ports open on the side of your Design Center. So pop in your thumb drive with your saved mascot, then over under the Drives column, select the drive that it's found on, select the folder it's in, you'll preview your mascot right here, and when you click OK, as you can see, I've loaded our VariQuest logo. It saves it here, and it will put it on all the various templates that require, again, a school name and mascot. So it's a really nice time saver. When you're done, click OK, and it will back you out of that automatically. I'm going to come back to Workroom Assistant and come back to Setup and talk about nameless before we end our training today. This is an important feature when you are taking advantage of the ability to print certificates. The fact that you can upload a list of names is going to be a nice time saver. So more to come on that, but for now we're going to back out. I will say under Workroom Assistant, another thing to note is we've got all of our user documentation. built into the software as well. So it makes it really easy. Of course, it's all out on our VariQuest Resource Center as well. However, you can easily just click on user documentation. Here in this case, you would click on the Perfecta 2400, and here we have the content guide, we have introductory information, we've got some short video clips, etc. So take a look at the documentation that's provided. And that leads me to something I want to mention too. Right here is the Perfecta and Motiva. Motiva is another VariQuest tool that you may have in your school. But nonetheless, we have a digital content guide that will show you all the Perfecta templates. So I mentioned that there are about 650. So rather than having to stand at the design center and go through all those templates, again, it's nice to have the software on your own computer so you can flip through it that way. But you can also distribute this digital guide as well. When you click on it, it opens up an ebook that shows you, like I said, every single template. Now you can take and download that as a PDF file, print it, and then put it in a binder and put that right by the Perfecta. I think that's an awesome suggestion or great idea, because then you can have various people coming up to create their different posters and banners, and being able to flip through that guide, that printed copy right next to the printer could be very helpful. Otherwise, you can share the link to the split book with anybody in your school building, anybody in your district office, other schools that you maybe are sharing the printer with. Send that link to them. Again, that gives them the ability to flip through that book on their own time, become familiar with what they want to create in advance, so that it is going to be a nice time saver. So you can find this content guide here, but you can also find it on our VariQuest Resource Center as well. And again, you can print it, you can share the link, flip through it, become familiar with the software. And as you'll see in a second, all of our templates have a unique ID associated with them. So all those IDs are listed, so teachers and administrators can jot down the ID of what it is they want to create, and then during prep time, go and actually create. And that's really going to lend itself to teacher efficacy and really maximizing that short, tight window of time that you get throughout the day to prep for class and whatnot. So keep that in mind. That's under user documentation, also found on our VariQuest Resource Center. I will also add, and I just want to show this real quick, where you see this button about VariQuest. When you click on it, it will always give you a license agreement that it pertains to our VariQuest software, which gives you the version of software that is most current. So you may wonder what software you have. In fact, we just this past summer, summer of 2019, we released a new update to our software. And our updates, when we do release them, are available, as I mentioned, on the VariQuest Resource Center to download. And it is good to keep your Design Center current with the most recent version of software. So many of you, I'm sure, that are watching this training might have had your Design Center and your Perfecta for a few years. If that's the case, go here, click on that button, see what version of software you are running, and make sure it is the most current version, which today in 2020 is version 8.0. So we will continue to notify you of changes as they are, or updates as they become available. Now, to get started, click on the main menu, and here you'll see the VariQuest Perfecta listed. Another thing I'm just going to skip back for a second, because I do want to also point out in Workroom Assistant, in setup and output devices, if you don't have our other VariQuest tools in your school, if you don't have the Motiva or the Awards Maker or the Cutout Maker, for example, and you see them here and those boxes are checked, just deselect them and you won't see them on your main menu. So I think that's a helpful tip. But when you're on your main menu, to get started, click on the Perfecta 2400. Here's where you can peruse and take a look at all the various templates that are available. Here's where you can make your edits and where you can proceed to print. So we give you a couple options. You can search for by keyword or browse categories. When you search by keyword, basically just takes you to this screen here where you can type in your search word. It's going to narrow your search if you have an idea of what you're looking for. This is also where you're going to go in and type in your unique ID. If you know what poster it is that you want to create in advance, you've jotted down that ID, type it in here, and it will go right to that poster. So it's going to be a nice time saver. Otherwise, for those that are new to this software, I invite you to peruse the software by browsing categories and really become familiar with the great templates that are available to you. We have sorted everything in categories and subcategories, laid everything out in alphabetical order on the left of your screen, so that's helpful. We've also given you a change button over here towards the right. You can click on that and you can change your content preferences. So if you're in elementary school and you don't need to see templates that pertain to secondary or post-secondary education, you could just deselect those boxes. That's another way to narrow your search and be a little bit more intentional about the templates that you're looking at. So that's an option to you. Although I always personally like having all 4 boxes checked, all four grade levels checked, because you always have the ability, in most cases anyway, to edit your posters. So even if you're looking at something that's geared more for college age students, you can make modifications to those that can tailor it to the ages of your students. So do keep that in mind. Now, when you're going through the different categories, again, become familiar. You've got the 4 main subject areas listed here. You've got, you know, events and celebrations. You've got extracurricular activities. You've got a category that reads teacher tools. I always love to point this one out because here's where you have basic layouts as well. So if you are looking at the various templates and you're like, oh, I'm just not seeing what I want to be able to customize it how I wish. Well, we've given you various layouts of poster banner templates so that you can choose the layout that you wish and then populate it with whatever graphics, text, etc. that you want to customize it to your particular application. So this is where you're going to find your basic layouts. You can also create your own 24-inch banners. The widest you can create a poster, your width for the Perfecta 2400 is 24 inches when you're using the rolled papers. So just keep that in mind. You can create your own 24-inch by whatever length banners, but you can't do 36-inch because your printer isn't wide enough for that. So just search under create your own 24-inch banner, and that's how you can customize your own banners as well. I will also mention that we have a category that reads whole school. Now I was talking about certificate printing. Here's where you will find a certificate subcategory with 10 pre-designed certificate templates to choose from. And we'll go back to that in just a little bit. We also have a great subcategory, college and career readiness. So for all of our secondary, high schools, middle school and high schools that are doing this training, know that we've got a great assortment of templates to really boost your career technical education as well and help prep these students for what lies beyond secondary education. So keep that in mind as well. So again, become familiar. You're going to love all the options. I'm going to stay within English language arts right now. I'm going to stay in the subcategory of reading. Again, here are all the templates with that unique ID number or a unique ID listed below in a blue band. I'm going to select the template that I want simply by clicking on it, and when I click OK, it then takes me to my edit screen. And here's where, in most cases, you can make modifications to your template. Not in all cases, but in most. And you've got simple, basic editing capabilities, yet very effective editing capabilities over on the right. So just to review with you, we've got a design tab, a text tab, graphics, color, and backgrounds. So we're in the design tab right now. As you can see, you can bring objects to the front, send things to the back. You know, this is no different than using a Microsoft program where you have those same capabilities. So you can layer things that way. You can center things horizontally and vertically. You can rotate, you can delete objects as well, and you can copy and paste. So for example, I can just click on this header and I can click delete and it deletes it out. And then you can move things around too. So if I want this graphic box to go over here, I can do that, and I can then move these text boxes down just by grabbing them and moving them to where I want them to go. So that's really pretty straightforward. When you go to your text tab, here's where you can bring in, you can modify any of your text by just clicking on edit text and making your modifications that way. Or you can bring in some new text as well. Click on new text, you're out at the keyboard, and you can type in what you want it to say. Note that we do have a Spanish letters key, so you can type everything in Spanish, which is nice. You can click on the Spanish letters key and toggle between the Spanish keyboard and the standard keyboard. And I know that's really popular within schools. So once you're done, just click OK. Always when you're adding new text, it just puts it in the middle of your template, and then it allows you to resize. I don't have a keyboard attached. If I did, I could just type in whatever text size I want. But if you're just using a mouse, you can also rely on the up and down arrow symbols. You can also grab a hold of it, grab a hold of it this way too, and resize. But I think it's easier to do it with the arrows, then move it to where you want it to go. So you get the idea of how that works. And this text sizing capability is really nice, so you can have a nice uniform template, and you just, it makes it just a lot easier, takes out any guesswork by being able to just type in what text size you want for all of your text boxes. Now, you can also click on fonts and styles. Select your text first, but then you can click on fonts and styles. It gives you a whole font library that you can peruse. You can change your style of letters just by clicking on it. You can change the direction of your text as well, which is cool. You can bold, italicize, and underline, and you can left, center, and right justify. Now, when I did that, of course, it did play around a little bit with my text size, so I just have to make a quick little adjustment. You can see it just is super easy to do. So put that where we want it. There we go. You also have a graphics tab, and your graphics tab allows you to modify, in many cases, not all, your graphics and or add graphics to your template as well. Now, in this case, where you see this colorful border, when I click on like the apple, for example, I can't just select the apple. I can't just select the pencil. So I can't change those, because when I click on them, it selects this full border. If I were to delete this, it would delete it out, which you can do if you want. If you don't need that border, you certainly can delete it. But those are two graphics that I can't modify. But here I have an open graphic box. Click on that, and I can choose a graphic within the software. As I mentioned, we have thousands of graphics to choose from. You can search by keyword, and they're also noted in that content guide as well. Or you can browse categories, and just like our templates, everything is laid out in categories and subcategories in alphabetical order. So just choose your category, and then choose the graphic that you want to insert, and it just positions it right onto your template. Again, you can resize it how you wish, and I can do my word read back over here, so you get the idea. Actually, I'll show you something else with that. So just bring that over like that. Keep that. Put this back down here, actually, give myself a little bit more room. But you get the idea of how easy it is to add a graphic. Now, the other thing I was going to say is you can bring in a new graphic, and you can bring in your own graphic as well. So if I click on new graphics, here's the option to bring in your own graphic, meaning you can bring in a digital photograph, another graphic that you have found on the internet, bring that in easily to your template. Now keep in mind though that when you're finding a graphic on the internet, you do want that graphic to be large in size, as large as you can find it, because it will stretch to poster size, and it could appear pixelated if it's a small file. So look for a large graphic size to be most successful, but really any photos from your smartphones that are actual size are going to work beautifully. So just like how we uploaded our mascot, I think it's easiest to have your graphics saved on a thumb drive, pop it in your USB, choose the drive, and then you can choose your graphic, and then simply click OK, and it would save it right onto your template. So that's how you can bring in your own graphic. You can also, again, bring in a graphic, from within the software as well. So if I want to bring in this graphic, I can do that. When you bring in a graphic, just like text, it always brings it into the middle. I think it's easiest to resize it and then drag it to where you want it to go. So you get the gist. It's really easy to do. Now, you can also bring in simple shapes like a rectangle, oval, cross star, and triangle. So if this is a star reader, for example, I can just go ahead and click on a star, and it puts it right on my template, allowing me to resize it and drag it to where I want it to go. So that's pretty easy to do. Maybe I want multiples of this star, so I can go back to design, and I can copy and paste and copy and paste, and then I can drag those other stars, you know, where I want them to go. So you get the idea of how you can easily add more with that copy and paste feature. You can also go out to colors and view a color palette. Here's where you can really bring your poster to life by adding a pop of color, as you can see. So real easy to do. Let's see, this kind of a situation here. So you can really jazz it up, really make it colorful. You can do the same with these text boxes as well. And then you also have the ability to customize your color. So you have your own school colors, I'm sure. So if you want to achieve your actual school color, you can customize it accordingly. So that's a nice feature as well. So that is all under color. I'll make this graphic just a little bit bigger so it stands out a little bit more. So you can really have some fun, really show some creativity, and really make your poster pop with these additional editing features. As I talk about color, you can also click on background and add a background. So if you want to fill up this white space to really make it more, stand out more, you can do that by clicking solid fill, and then you can just choose the color that you want it to be. You can do a horizontal gradient or a vertical gradient as well. I also wanted to mention, when I showed under teacher tools, those basic layouts, you could start with a graphic box or a text box, go all the way to go to the edit screen, click on that text box or graphic box, delete it, and then you're starting with a blank slate. And you can customize and tailor your templates however you wish and however you want by starting with that blank slate. You can also go into the graphics section of the software where we were just a few minutes ago, and you'll find, I'll show you actually, you will find that we have a backgrounds category. So you can choose, you can click on backgrounds, see the various backgrounds that are available to you, choose a background, and then size it to the size of your blank template, and then add your text, add additional graphics, and really make that that poster unique and really give it a pop. So I love that feature. The other thing I'll talk about too with graphics real quick is when you are bringing in your own graphic, if you connect your design center to the internet, you do have access to Google Drive too. So that's just another way to bring in additional graphics, bring in additional backgrounds, etc. But just remember, file size is important. You do want to make sure they're large in size so that the resolution is great when it goes to print to poster size. So you get the idea of how easy it is to make your changes, and keep in mind you always have that undo button, which is really great as well. When you're done and ready to advance, just click next. Here's where you can save your changes, which is ideal. If you know you're going to bring this poster up time and time again, save it so you can make quick modifications without reinventing it altogether. So you would just click yes and follow the prompts to save it. When you do so, it doesn't put it in individual file folders, but it does save it in one big window, and it allows you to put in the file name that you want to save it under, and it alphabetizes everything. So if you have a lot of teachers, parent volunteers, creating things on the Design Center, have them save it under their last name, because it'll be alphabetized, making it so much easier to search for that saved template. If you are using the software on your own computer in your classroom, save what you've done so that you can then proceed to export it onto a thumb drive, which I'll show you in a minute. If you don't need to save it, say no. It then takes you to your print preview screen. You actually have 4 sizes that you can print in. So you've got the 24-inch roll of paper, and that allows you then to either select, and it defaults to the standard size poster, so it's generally going to be about a 24 by 32 or 34-inch poster. According to your template, your output size is always listed down here. Of course, your banner lengths are going to be dependent on the template that you choose, so they're going to range in size. This largest banner length, the longest banner you can create is a 10-foot banner, so keep that in mind. And again, 24 inches is always going to be your width. But you can reduce your poster size down to more of a medium-sized poster. See that it shrinks it down to about a 24 by 17-inch poster in this case. So it utilizes the same 24-inch width, but it, again, just shrinks your template down so you have more of a medium-sized poster. And then, as I mentioned, you've got that multi-sheet tray giving you the option to print 13 by 19-inch mini-sized posters, and 8.5 by 11 student copies or test prints. So those are your 4 sizes that you can print in. And you've got your up-down arrow symbols too, which you can adjust so you can put in whatever quantity. When you're ready to print, just click print. You get a message box that says it's prepared to print. When it goes away, like mine just did, you're able to go back to the beginning and start designing your next poster or banner. So you could build a nice print queue and continue to print. It shears out in between each poster when it's done. So it's nice to get a lot done in a short period of time. Now, I'm going to let mine print for a few minutes, and while I do, I'm going to stay zoomed in because a couple other things I want to show you relate to, first of all, that ability to retrieve a file that you've saved previously. You will find those under My Files. Here they are listed. Again, underneath is the file name in a blue band, which is alphabetized. So when you want to, if it's something you've done on your own computer, maybe you've done it on your laptop at home, and now you want to export it, just click it, and then click export it onto your thumb drive. Don't change the file name, don't do anything to it, save it just as it is. Then when you are in your workroom area ready to print, just pop it in. You most likely will have it on a USB, pop it in, and then bring it up again by going into My Files, and now this time you would click on it and you would click import, and that imports it into the software, allowing you to then select it and print it out. So very easy to do that. Great way, as I said, to maximize your investment as well. That's My Files. You also have the ability to print PDF files under My PDFs. So you'll find when you get familiar with the VariQuest Resource Center, we have so many free resources available for you to really help, as I said earlier, maximize your investment. We have a whole variety of posters, in fact, that are saved as PDF files. So they're posters we've created outside of VariQuest software that you can download for free and upload into your software and print to poster size. And also, we've got a number of lessons and activities that correlate the Perfecta 2400 with classroom instruction. Many of those lessons and activities also give you PDF files that you can print to poster size that fit or correlate with that particular lesson. So take advantage of those free resources. I will also say that if you are creating something in a different software program on your own, and if you have the ability to save it as a PDF file, you can upload it into the software and print. And the way you do that is just have your PDF saved on a thumb drive. Again, I think that's always easiest. Click on My PDFs, choose the drive that it's found on, choose your folder, and then choose the PDF file that you want to bring into the software to print. Just by clicking on it, you get a preview right here. When you click OK, it just takes seconds to upload. And once it's uploaded, you'll see it on the print preview screen, just like I am right now. You have the ability to change your output size, your quantity, and then just proceed to click print or touch print, and you are able to print to poster size. You're ready to go. So that's how you can take a PDF file and print to poster size as well. Lastly, I just want to show you, as we talked about certificate printing, we talked about name lists. If, again, we go back under Workroom Assistant, we go under Setup. Here's the name list button. Here, if you're going to get into certificate printing, why just do one at a time when you can bring in a whole list of names? What it does is it'll put an individual name on an individual certificate and print them consecutively. And it does it in batches of up to 50 at a time. So from this area of the software, you can create a new list simply by typing it in a nice column and then proceeding to save it. Or you can import it from an Excel doc. So that to me is the easiest. Have your Excel doc created. Have both your first and last name in the A column because it only pulls from the A column. But with that saved on a thumb drive, just pop that in and click on Import List, follow the prompts to import it, and therefore you're not having to recreate that list. All of your saved lists will appear on the left. When you click on that saved list, your preview of names will be on the right. You can edit those names and those lists at any time as well. So that's all under Workroom Assistant. You can have all your lists created and saved in advance. And then when you are ready to print your certificates, you can go to Whole School, as I mentioned, find the certificate subcategory, choose the template that you want, click on it, and again, it goes to the edit screen. You edit it just like you do a poster or a banner. Same editing capabilities that we were just reviewing. But here now, the only difference is under text, you have the ability to bring in that name list. So you click on where the recipient's name is going to go, click on name list. You can create a list on the fly too. You can import it right from this area of the software as well, from your Excel doc. Or if you have created it already, go to My Saved List. This is where we just were. Retrieve that list. And when you click OK, it puts the first name on your certificate. When you advance to the print preview screen, it already knows that there are 4 names in the list, so they're all, the quantity, has changed to 4. It knows that it's 8.5 by 11 certificate paper, so that size has already been selected. Here's your first preview, but then you have got this arrow that's highlighted that you can click on to view all the certificates before you print. Then when you click print, it will print them consecutively, one right after another. So that's going to make your life so much easier, and you can prepare these great award certificates within minutes, which is a really nice feature. I also will add in the software on every single screen that you go to, you always have, it's consistent, a guide me button in the upper right corner. You can always just click on that, and it's going to give you step-by-step instructions on what to do next. So the software is really user-friendly. So you can see all these different instructions that are given, really guiding you and making it as easy as possible. So that is the VariQuest software. I'm going to go ahead. My poster is almost done printing, so great timing. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so that you can see the final product, and we're going to wrap up training here in just a few minutes. So we're zoomed out here. You can see that the poster is successfully printing. Another feature that you're going to love about the Perfecta is it's so quiet and it is so efficient too. This has been printing quite quietly as well. So if you have it in your media center or wherever you might have it in your building, it's not going to be disruptive at all. When it's done, it shears off, as you can see, and you're able to start over again, or start with your next poster or banner. I was wondering why mine cut off a little early. It is because my yellow just ran out. So that does happen from time to time. But again, I'm alerted, I know what cartridge I need to replace, so I will do that, and I'll be able to print it again. Because it's printed almost in its entirety, what I would do, just to save on cost, I would hate to throw this away, I would just shear off the bottom a little bit. You still have a great poster to put in your classroom. So that's a little bit about the software, how easy it is to print. I've got my message now to replace my yellow. One thing I was going to mention too is when your poster is printing, if you want to stop it at any point in time because maybe it's not printing to your desire, you've got a spelling error, whatever it might be, you will always find that there is an X on the control panel in the lower right corner. Click on that X, that will stop the printing and allow it to shear off so you can correct your mistake or whatever and start over again. I also wanted to mention when you're printing the certificates and other things from your multi-sheet tray, right where my hand is, you can extend this tray. So you've got a tray that pulls out, allowing you to collect those 13 by 19 and 8.5 by 11 prints. So that's all there's to it. I hope you have found this to be very effective. If you have additional inquiries and need some technical assistance or need to place an order for some additional supplies and whatnot, we're accessible, easy to get a hold of. You can reach us at 1-800-328-0585 and listen to the prompts to either go to customer service or tech support. You can always reach out to your education consultant as well, and they will help assist as also with whatever it is that you need. And then also, for many of you, you have an authorized VariQuest dealer in your area. I'm sure you're familiar with who that individual is. You can always reach out to them as well. So we are available to continuously answer your questions, provide tech support, and make sure that you are satisfied and utilizing your investment to the max. So did want to mention that. Lastly, the VariQuest Resource Center. If you haven't already created a login, go to our website, VariQuest.com. You'll see a login button on our home screen. Click on that. It allows you to register or basically sign up for a login to the VRC. Just complete your digital form, indicate that you have the Perfecta 2400 in your school. There is a serial number on a label in the back of the Perfecta. It will prompt you to put in your serial number, and then you'll have your own unique login. When you're on the home page, you'll see that there is a button to invite others as well. So you can send an invitation individually to others in your school, or you can upload a whole list of staff names and email addresses, and we'll send that invitation to them, and we'll send them a login. They'll be able to bypass, entering the serial number and all that kind of stuff, and they'll also be able to have their own login. So I encourage you to spread the word so that all of you can access this resource center and really utilize all the resources that are available. You'll become familiar with it as you look at it. On the left is where you'll see all the products. When you click on the Design Center, that's where you'll see a download of the VariQuest software. When you click on the Perfecta, that's where you'll see training videos. We've got one specific to printing a PDF, specific to printing certificates. All those videos are there. All your supply information, you know how important it is to have it readily available when you want to order additional paper and ink. Just go there, click on the supplies page, and all of the part number and pricing information is right there for you. You can, by the way, also access that on our main website as well. There's a tab up on top. We invite you to follow us on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, follow our blog. All of those, all that ability to follow us is presented either on our website or on the VRC as well. And take advantage of our additional resources, our free templates, as I mentioned on the VRC, the free lessons and activities that are available under teacher resources. And then we also have professional development, and we encourage you to take advantage of our professional development that we offer. We give live webinars throughout the school year that you can participate in, or you can view our whole library of professional development, past webinars that we've archived that you can view on your own time. So we want you to be successful. The VRC is there so that you can be successful with your investment. So with that said, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for your attendance. Have a great day.